Hello, I wanted to share with you all a great morning yoga practice, whether it be before you go to work or you are about to set up in your own home office. This is a great, hopefully a 10 to 15 minute long video consisting of 7 to 8 stretches. I really wanted to take the time to share with everyone what I've personally been practicing with my yoga. This practice has helped my body open up so much, and after I've been conditioned through my back doctor after having a full-blown spinal fusion and the list of limitations that went along with that, I am able to do a lot of what my doctor said I wouldn't be able to do. So today I'm here to share with you a yoga practice that I've been practicing. It is the world of Katonah yoga, which refers to our physical body, and wherever we may be stuck, we have misalignments or we have a lack of energy flowing within our internal organs. And that actually directly correlates with our life circumstances. So first, I wanted to review with you how your back is meant to be aligned. So we have curves and waves in our spine, if you will. And we start down here at our sacrum where our butt is, and it curves outwards. As we go to our lower back, it curves inwards. As we go to our middle back or thoracic spine, it curves outwards, and then our neck curves inwards, and then our head curves outwards. So it matches, our head matches our sacrum, our lower back or our lumbar spine matches our cervical spine. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to align our lumbar and our cervical spine with 2 yoga blocks, because what do we do most of the day when we're sitting, especially at a 9-to-5 job, is we're rounding our backs and we're hunching over like this. This can really create a lot of issues within, oh my goodness, the lower back, the shoulders, the neck. The neck hurts, the shoulders hurt, and then it trickles all the way down and up the chain. So what we're actually going to start with first is a lower back stretch, and we have our low setting, our medium setting, and our high setting. So first, I just want us to start on the low setting. We want to take this yoga block and we're going to place it right in between the upper butt and the lower back. So that way our front body is opening up here. And then we want to make sure that our middle fingers can touch our heels here. Our toes are slightly inwards, heels are slightly out. And then this is going to pull your femur bones inwards. If we tend to have our feet wide when we're standing throughout our days, this is really going to impact your lower back. So now, as you're allowing for your psoas muscle, which is really deeply connected to your spine and also gets really shortened and tightened throughout our work days, this is almost just counterposing what we do from a day to day. So next step is we're going to grab the opposite side of each elbow, and then you're just going to reach back. And now we're going to take some deep breaths. So just focus on your breath. Now you have the ability to breathe through the diaphragm, which is really going to allow for you to breathe towards the bottom of your lungs, since now you're open. So we'll just take a few deep breaths. We really want to make sure that we're taking our time with these poses, because this is going to really open us up and set us more in alignment. So that way we feel good in our external body, but also all of the disease that occurs within our internal organs, such as our kidneys, our lungs, our heart, our spleen, our liver. Those are also getting the energy and flow through the breath that we need. So take a few deep breaths in through the nose. Take about 4 seconds, and then exhale nice and slow. And with your inhale, you're really creating space in the stuck areas within your body and really being intentional with your breath. And it's not about doing more in the poses, less is more, so that way you can really focus on opening yourself up. So everything starts with the lower back. If you have lower back issues, you're more than likely going to have neck and or shoulder issues. So that's why we're starting with this first. And the next pose is actually going to be addressing the neck and opening your chest up. So now we're going to take and slowly get out of that pose there. So now we're going to take 2 yoga blocks for our mid back, and this is called fish pose. So basically we're going to open up our chest, and you won't want to be hunched over. It will make you be more mindful throughout your day about your posture. So now we're going to start by placing 1 yoga block underneath the mid back. So right in between your shoulder blades. You don't want it too low, too high. You're actually going to tilt the block towards your heels initially, so that way when you roll back onto the block, you're not falling over. And then again, you have your low setting, your medium setting, and your high setting. And this is actually the reverse of the lower back. So you want to start on, I would say, the medium setting here. So in line with your mid back, you're just going to put this underneath your head here. And we really want to make sure that we can swallow without issue here. Otherwise, we're doing too much to start. And what this does, again, is it opens our spine up. It really allows for us to breathe. And then we're going to take our elbows again with each side, with each hand, and just raise your arms next to your ears. If you're overly flexible, you'll want a 3rd block to put behind you, but obviously I'm not that flexible because of my back being fused. And then again, you want your feet about hip distance apart, your toes slightly turning in, your knees or your femur bones are slightly rolled in. And this is going to feel very uncomfortable, especially for the shoulders, because we're so used to sitting forward and not opening our shoulders throughout our workday. So we have to think, how many hours are we doing that? And if we're continuing to do this practice, it's a consistent effort to really realign our bodies and to really push ourselves to this edge, because that's where transformation happens, is when we're giving that slight push and doing things that are uncomfortable and things that are almost foreign to us within our body, but then that translates to the outer world. So again, a few deep breaths here. Really take your time. Don't just try to rush out of this pose. Really try to connect with your body here and feel where you're stuck or where you're tight. And now my lungs are open. Now I can really take those deep breaths. So this yoga practice is all about, it's not about stretching, but it's one about finding your breath and learning to synchronize your breath with your movement. So that way, again, you're allowing for that direct path of energy to go through all of your organs. And that is directly correlated to your outer world and your circumstances. And if we are in control of our breath, we can really decrease our shallow breathing. We can decrease our anxious thoughts, and we can decrease our anxiety. We can decrease a lot of issues just through like being all cooped up in our chest, and we can really start to make choices for ourselves. So now we're going to go into a tabletop position, and first thing we want to do is we want to measure 2 fists in between our knees, because that's going to allow for our knees to be directly under our hips. Then we want to align 2 middle fingers together. So like this, in a straight line, so straighten your arms, and then pivot from your thumbs. And so now I'm going to look like this. I'm in a tabletop position. So everything is directly proportionate within your body. It just takes retraining to do so. And then you're going to tuck your elbows in, shift your body forward, push down through your middle finger and your index finger, so that way you're not putting too much pressure on the wrist. You're going to tuck the chin under, look back, exhale, and then come slightly forward, expose your collarbones, inhale. And go at a pace that works for you. For me, I go really slow. You can go fast. But right here, we're right in the center. As we're shifting between forward and back, when we start to notice tightness in the back body, that means we're holding on to too much memories. And when we're tight or stuck in the front body, we're hanging on to anxious thoughts. So when we're right here in the center, and we're shifting between the two, we're in our present, and we're allowing ourselves to create clarity through our choice, because we're choosing to allow for the flow of our body to go front and back, front and back. And we're using our breath too. So we're really breaking up stagnation in the body. We're allowing for energy to flow through our whole body. Really be mindful too of some of the limitations in your body, and keep showing up every day. That's where you're going to transform your body, and again, allow for more energy to flow, so that way you have more energy for your day. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do hip circles. So right now we're going to arch the back, bring it to the right side, hunch the lower back, bring it to the left side, and continue. This is bringing fluidity and water into the kidneys. And I'm not going to lie, when I first tried this, I cried because I couldn't do it. This movement right here is what got me coming back to this daily yoga practice. And what happens when we are overworking and sitting and our lower back hurts is our kidneys are being overworked and they're being dried. So this is bringing water to the kidneys through the fluidity of moving your hips. The hips are so important. Then we're gonna go the other direction. And this direction may not feel very natural at all. This is the direction right here where I was crying because I couldn't do it. So you're literally drawing circles with the bottom of your butt. And you're bringing water into the kidneys so that way they're not dried out and stale from our overworking. And it may seem silly, but I'm telling you, since doing this, I've allowed more time to rest, to show up for myself, so that way I can show up for other people. So the next thing we're going to do is stretch the wrist. And when we think about it at work, we're curling our wrists like this. Again, we're doing this all day. So now we're just going to open the wrist up. And again, keep measuring your 2 fist distance and your 2 middle fingers. Pivot from the thumbs, not the wrist. And then we're just going to bring one wrist back at a time. And then we want to slightly bend the elbow. And this is opening up our collarbones. This is opening up our lungs where we can breathe from the front now. If this is too much stretch for you, you can grab a pillow and you can elevate your wrist on top of that pillow. So one hand's back, one hand's forward. And again, we're gonna create some circles here. We're gonna go in one direction first. And then we wanna go in the other direction. The point of this is not to build flexibility, but it's to learn where we are stuck and where we're tight, and how we can continue to show up and notice these improvements in our body and notice more alignment in our body. And then we start to notice more alignment in our thoughts and our choices, because we're conquering one thing within the body. So then, I mean, the options are endless of what we can really achieve in the external world. So now we're gonna switch sides, and we're gonna go one way first. And it's really about bringing balance, because you'll already notice one wrist may feel a lot tighter than the other, and that's why we're focusing on one at a time. And then go the other way. Again, if you need a bolster, hi Fernando. To elevate your wrists, if it is on the tighter side, then please do so. But it's really about pushing ourselves to the edge, and it's not an ego thing. It's not about pushing beyond, like pushing extra weight in the gym. It's really about learning about ourselves and where we feel stuck, because that's a direct correlation within our body. Oh yeah, so I have both of them turned around now. You can choose to do so or not. But yeah, now both of my collarbones are open when I'm putting both wrists back, and that is actually setting your back up so that way you're not hunching over. So anything underhand is going to set your back. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is a downwards dog position. So this is not the traditional that you've probably done before, but what we're going to start with is that 2 fist distance in between the knees, 2 middle fingers together, pivot from the thumbs, push your toes into the ground, and then you're going to really focus on pushing your butt up towards the sky. And what I learned in this Katonah yoga is if we have our heels straight down and our legs straight, this actually puts a lot of pressure on the kidneys because then our back is rounded. So we actually want to have a nice little arch in the back, and I'm really pushing up onto my toes and coming off of my heels. I'm really bending from my knees, and that's allowing me to push my butt up, so that way it's not a shoulder exercise, it's a hip exercise. So from here, you're looking forward, you're really trying to get that nice arch in your back. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to take a lunge. So we're going to bring one leg forward. And then you do want both hands on both sides of your foot. You want your back foot flat on the floor. So you want your pinky toe pushing into the mat, not your big toe. And then, yeah, this is actually one that I couldn't do with both hands being flat on the floor. It took forever to get my left hand to get flat. And that just means there's an imbalance within my left kidney. And from here, you also want to make sure that, yes, your arm is going to be in direct proportion with your leg and your torso with your quad. And you can even kind of make circles here. Go both directions. Then what you want to do is bring your arms forward in line with the ears, grab opposite side of the elbows, and then imagine that your torso is coming up and forward and you're not bending from the back. You're going to take some deep breaths. If this is really uncomfortable for you, this is a good sign to keep practicing. You may notice that the legs are really tight. So we'll come back up to our down dog. And then we'll do the other side. So hands on the outside, left hand's on the outside of the foot. Right toe is down, pinky side. And I'm really kind of getting into that stretch. I'm coming forward and allowing for my hip flexor and my psoas to open. And again, my arm is in direct proportion with my leg here. Arms come in line with the ears. Come forward and up. And then you're grabbing each elbow. And taking your deep breaths. Embrace the challenge. It's the challenge of life. Trying something new. Evolving your perception of yourself, of the world around you. And then come back down. Tuck your toe under. Dog pose. And then last but not least, we have a seated twist. So we're going to take a pillow again. And we're going to sit on top of it, because this is going to set our body in a nice alignment of having our sacrum in line with our neck, whereas if we're off of the pillow, we could have the potential to kind of round and not be in alignment. So here, I'm going to tuck in my right heel. I'm going to hug my right knee, and then I'm going to put my fingers directly behind me, so that way I'm in alignment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to take a small little twist. We really want to make sure that our heel is touching our butt basically. And if you can, bring your elbow on the outside of the knee. I'm personally not quite there yet, but that's okay. I'm just hugging. What we're aiming for is our heart to aim at 90 degrees and our eyes or our vision to aim at 180 degrees. Our heart is our vision and our inner compass. And if our heart is not set where it needs to be, then we don't have the vision of where we want to go. So our intentions, our whys. Why are we showing up today? Why are we doing what we're doing for work? Is your vision there? And then we'll switch sides. So slowly come out of that one, and then switch. So tuck your heel in to your butt. Hug that left knee. Fingers pointed back, 180 degrees. Take your inhale, raise your chest. And then exhale, twist. This is one exercise or position that my back doctor told me I would never be able to do. And I'm here doing it. So don't let this practice discourage you. If you're unable to do something, try to really keep showing up, because half of these poses I just did now, I wasn't able to do. And I wasn't even in the position to show these positions, if you will. It makes me a little emotional because this is part of my brand, Beyond Movement Improvement. We're going beyond our perceived limitations because our mind is a powerful thing. But if you have your heart and your soul set in the right place, then you have your vision. And it's really about intention at the end of the day. Why are we showing up? Why are we focusing on our breath? Why are we wanting to become more open? Why are we doing what we're doing in the world? So I hope that was helpful. May have been a little longer than I thought, but with that being said, stay tuned for more videos and cheers.